Host Rex Stevens. I'm in studio with producer Max Woodcock, and we're telling you a heated Paul Tarek. You are in for a pretty darn big show, but let me first introduce also in studio. She's cracking up already. We have had quite the segment before the segment of the show here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. Motivational speaker, author of I'd Like to Run Wild, wellness action guide, loves laughter, loves humor, speaks all over the place, and entertains folks, motivates folks. Gene Steele, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Is Paul Tarek on fire, or is Paul Tarek on fire today?
I'm scared. If he had muscles, I'd be totally scared.
I lost those a long time ago. Put those on the shelf and retired them.
Well, you know, Living the Run is a health and fitness promotion show. It's we talk about everything health and fitness, and you know, one aspect, Paul, is strictly mental, spiritual health. Gene is the right person here for you. When the temper gets hot, we need to simmer it down because it just isn't good physically.
It's good.
It isn't good.
It is good every now and then to get, to experience emotional highs and lows. I don't want to be I don't want to be a stable flatline kind of guy.
I don't think you're stable. I think we're okay.
Wait a second. Did I say a couple weeks ago I need to stay emotionally steady? I need to flatline. I'm changing my stance. No, it's not true.
Changing the guard. Hey, unbelievable. Did you see it, Paul? Did you track Dave Van Maurik? This couple days ago, he came on the show last week, 20-mile attempt in the water from Catalina Island to the mainland. He swam, started at midnight, ended up just after noon. It sounded like the boat crew was in worse shape than him. The water was pretty rough out there. They were getting pretty seasick. I followed along. Dave did unbelievable stuff. Talk about a cool Living the Run story. Big time, 20 miles. Paul.
That's awesome, but let's get to talking about his wife. That's what I want to talk about.
She is the best hygienist in town.
That's what I've heard. I mean, great for the swimming aspect of things and terrific.
Yeah, but whatever.
But let's get on to the meat and potatoes.
yeah, I heard. Yeah, just don't waste the time talking about Dave. You're
20 miles, big deal. But his wife is a hygienist.
She knows how to clean teeth.
Yeah. Great. If your boat sinks, you can float to shore. But this woman can save your teeth and allow you to eat for the rest of your life.
That's
huge. That's
huge.
Lifetime.
Huge.
Lifetime.
Folks, this Living the Run show is gone awry quickly. Dave, unbelievable job. I hope we didn't just lose you as a guest in studio a couple weeks from now. The hope is that you can come in, talk a little bit of that team stuff, because we had Dean Karnazes on last week. If you guys missed Dean Karnazes, ultra marathon man, author of 3 books, we got the podcast online. It's getting a lot of hits, and Dean's known all over the world. And again, a guy that pushes that upper limit of things. We were talking about Olympics before the show started, Paul. Interesting to listen to a marathon coach, who talked about, he was asked in an interview, he was asked, hey, what makes an exceptional marathoner? And he said, someone who has a great willingness to experience pain. What do you think about that coming through? I mean, look at what these guys are doing. You're talking about Dean Karnazes said first 50 miles physical, last 50 mental. Obviously, that same thing with Dave. I mean, he would say that some of it's physical, but he's not in the pool training for 20 miles. So obviously, there's a huge mental aspect to this. What have you seen? Any good mental stories there in the Olympics?
There's an incredible mental aspect to it, like you said, just to get you that far. But when they're actually running, I mean, I think those guys, I can't remember the mile time, but I want to say they finish in like the 6-minute mile range or something like that. 20-some miles later, and then to be able to push your body it was easy for me to, I got one more lap, or I got like a half a lap to go. These guys do it for, only 7 more miles or 8 more miles when they start their kick. So, not only is it the mental aspect of getting to that point, but the physical aspect of my body is totally broken down. I want to stop and sit down. And then now the competition starts. I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah, this mental aspect of thing is pretty big. And Gene, you got on the front of your website, happypeoplewin.com. We talked a lot about with participants, we're trying to get people out and moving. One of the big themes over the last couple months was set something up on your calendar to participate. There has been this kind of talk, and I know there's been talk around the Dean Karnazes world, is that he doesn't win every race, and I know that some of the people that are winning have, there's been some sense of jealousy, et cetera, but there's also that sense of completion. So we talk about compete versus complete. What do you mean by happy people win?
That was the most bizarre segue. What the heck?
I mean, really, happy people win. Is that
okay? Again, I'm with you. I think that research shows overwhelmingly that people who are happy, who are more successful, they're healthier, they complete their goals. And in my opinion, happiness is a choice.
Are they happy?
Like your attitude.
When you're winning, I mean, you're happy. So it depends when you're measuring that happiness. Are you going out and finding happy people who don't win anything and go, hey, how's life? And they go, it's mediocre. And then you track them and you find out they win a lot? Or do you find somebody who's pretty successful and you go, hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't know, I'm pretty happy, man. It's like, well, he must be. He's got a bunch of stuff. So the chicken or the egg?
A bunch of stuff doesn't mean people are successful.
I don't mean physical, material things. What I mean are accomplishments. Maybe a promotion at work that might drive somebody. Maybe they're successful in their field. Maybe they have a very nice family. Are they happy first? Are they happy because of these things?
I think that the most important thing of what you just said, success is completely personal. So for one person, it might be being in the Olympics. For another person, it's raising a healthy child. And so I think the first thing you have to do is define success and then define what makes you happy. Because obviously we all have different levels. I mean, we live in a town where a lot of people gauge their happiness on stuff.
No. It's the happiest place in America, by the way, just in case you
I
haven't been watching.
Well, Oprah said, so it has to be true. And
he says a lot of things.
So I think, to me, it's about defining what success is and living your life according to your values. It's about accomplishments, and it could be different things to different people. I'm happy. I am successful in my own criteria of success. I think I have the best job in the entire world. I love every second of my job. Who can say that? That's pretty amazing.
Rex says it all the time, but I know he's lying.
Really?
Well, I mean, it is a big aspect, and it's one of the things that we talk about a lot in wellness. You know, we talk a lot about it in our clinic, and it's on my mind a lot because it's one of the things that's tough, Gene, is that you can measure accomplishments, you know, in the athletic field. Hey, I used to run this fast, now I run faster.
Mm-hmm.
I used to run this long, now I run further. You can measure what you're doing nutritionally. Hey, I used to overeat, now I don't anymore. It's easy to put measurements to those things. It's very difficult to measure happiness. You can't put objective numbers around it.
Absolutely.
And as a result, oftentimes it seems as though it's either negated or discounted along the way. But it almost seems to me, and I think probably your experience too, tell me if you're wrong, it's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if that mental side is where it's supposed to be, all the rest falls into play a lot easier rather than the vice versa. Hey, I exercise 7 days a week, but it's not necessarily transferring over to the happiness. Yes?
Yes. And I think one of the things when you develop goals, you do the SMART goals, and you need to have something tangible, something you can measure. And when people say my goal is to be happy, I say you can't do that because you can't measure it. How do you say, okay, I'm a 7 out of 10? And so you need to define happiness. You need to have subgroups of happiness. You just can't say happy. You have to say, I will be happy if I'm making a difference in the world, whether it's global, whether it's one person. I think a perfect example is if you go watch a Special Olympics and you see that the people who were last place finish last place are so happy to be there. And I think that as Americans, we have a higher level of what I think to be happy in America, we have a lot of physical, tangible things that I don't necessarily think equate with happiness. And what research shows is the more money you make doesn't mean that you're any happier.
Puff Daddy, more money, more problems, right?
More money, more problems.
So actually, you know what's funny? I kind of want to hit on this while she's talking about it. I've been to a lot of different countries. Happiest place I've ever been. The people that were the nice. Cuba, a country that should despise us for keeping them in the economic third world with our sanctions. We go down there, and these are the people that they have found the true meaning of happiness. They value personal relationships. You go down there, you develop a relationship with one of the athletes, and it's not like, hey, I'll see you at the next meet. It's like, hey, come to my house. Let's make you dinner. Let's tell us about yourself. They want to talk because they don't have the periphery of, come on in, check out my big screen TV and look at my stereo and look at my big house. They really value relationships with other people, and they're hands down the happiest country I've ever been to.
Hey, you're listening to Living the Run here on ESPN 1280, The Ticket. In studio, Paul Tarek, as usual. but you're in with Gene Steele, motivational speaker, talking happiness here. And I got to say this, Gene, already. Your presence just in 10 minutes has calmed Paul Tarek down tremendously. He's already talking about the most favorite people he ever competed in front of. This is good stuff. I've never seen such reversal.
Will this be a success story?
Well, I'm going to change my website and say, happy people win. I can calm Paul Tarek down. I can talk him off the Lolo ledge.
Talk me off the ledge.
The Lolo ledge.
The Lolo ledge. I'll say my favorite story so far, I think that the guys that won the most were, we talked briefly about the Chinese hurdler that went down again. He's had two kind of disappointing finishes in the Olympics, both in 2008, 2012, and two other guys that didn't win went and got him and made sure he finished. Put him around each shoulder, walked him through the finish line, and that was a winning moment for those three guys. It was a connection between three guys that don't speak the same language, but spoke the same language in effort and success, in knowing how hard the training had been and how important it was for him to get across that line, whether he had the fastest time or not.
I just got a text from one of our buddies here. Marathon men, what does he say? Marathon men, sub 5 minute mile. So I was incorrect in 6, less than 5.
Sub 5 minute miles for 26 miles. It is kind of crazy. Hey, we're going to segue real quick. We got a guy coming in. We talked a little bit of whole food nutrition. I know it's something that listeners are really interested in. We have a guy that's been on the pharmaceutical side of life. He's on the whole food nutrition side of life. We're going to try to couple some of that nutrition in, kind of understanding a little bit about anti-inflammation, tie that back into happiness and thought process and how we might be able to lower inflammation so that we can maximize performance, athletic fitness, and so forth. So more from us here on Living the Run in moments.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals, too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at Slow Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Slow Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run. If only you saw what went on in the studio during the breaks. Paul Tarek is on fire, folks, today. I mean, he is absolutely on fire. And it makes me nervous for our next guest who's coming on. Again, we're trying to get repeat guests on this show, but we'll see how Gerald takes it. We're coming into studio now from up in the Bay Area. Gerald, certified nutritional consultant, but former pharmaceutical rep. He's been in both industries. He's seen how medications work. He's seen how whole food nutrition works. Gerald, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Gerald, give us a quick deal on the concept real quick so that the listeners know and may be educated on the difference between whole food nutrition, or what somebody might mean when they say whole food nutritional supplements versus synthetic.
Good. So in the world of nutritional supplements, a lot of them out there are made of synthetic materials. What that means is that pharmaceutical companies have actually, in a laboratory, taken coal tar or petroleum and put it through a lab to make a synthetic vitamin. So there are a lot of synthetic vitamins out there on the retail store and online, and that right there is not necessarily whole food nutrition. That right there is really, it's known as nutraceutical therapy, and unfortunately, oftentimes you can even just say that it's over-the-counter pharmacology. You take a high-dose synthetic chemical, put that in your body, and expect a change. So naturally, a change will occur. Whole food supplements or whole food concentrates are basically foods that are left raw, intact, with all the entire nutrient complexes that the body is actually more familiar at recognizing it and can actually utilize. Because at the end of the day, we humans have been grown and, we've evolved and we've been designed to eat foods.
Hey, so give me this. One of the classic things that we're seeing right now is all the advertisements on the Olympics, et cetera. We see things like the Gatorades, the sport drinks, this kind of stuff, and they're constantly giving you the rundown on how you get the electrolytes, how you get the vitamins, how you get the minerals, how you get a little bit more of this or that. Talk about what's going on in those in comparison to a whole food type of electrolyte drink.
Right, exactly, yeah. And, when it comes down to anything that's purchased, we've got to always look at who's making it and for what reason. And one of the things about Gatorade, first of all, is that, it has some of the things that we need as athletes and individuals living and moving. And the first is water. Water is very important. In addition to that, there's also these, what they call electrolytes. That's in a way a fancy term for minerals. And unfortunately, there are certain things we don't need in the Gatorade that can actually work counter to, an athlete working optimally. And then the first thing is any food coloring. A lot of these food colorings are actually synthetically made. Unfortunately, they're made in laboratories from coal tar. Obviously, the body was never designed to take coal derivatives such as artificial food coloring. And so what it's going to do is it's going to attempt to excrete it out of the body. So what does that mean? It means our livers and our kidneys actually have to work harder than if we just drink water and brought in minerals through green leafy vegetables. So at the end of the day, we do definitely need minerals. We definitely do need water as a transport medium to carry these minerals into our tissues, especially the muscles, so that we don't have, the achy muscles or muscle cramps through a particular event like a marathon and such.
I think a big question, at least that I heard and I had myself, was, Gatorade was always a thing that was suggested to us, but the question the question I had, I guess, was, do we really need that much sugar in the drink we have? Do we just need the water and the minerals and the sugar only if we don't have enough readily available carbohydrates?
Yeah, and that's what I've heard too. As I was growing up and watching all these sports commercials every Sunday, watching football, baseball, and the reason why the sugar is in there is to make the beverage palatable. And so that's the first and foremost reason why it's there. Whether we need sugar for actual endurance and performance, we can make energy obviously from fats, proteins, and we don't necessarily want to have a refined source of sugar in the body. at high concentrations at any given point too, because that can actually contribute to the development of inflammation. Just having refined foods in the body is something that's foreign. It's a foreign concept. But when we have whole foods where, if we were to consume vegetables with the minerals intact with other nutrients, that is what our body's always been able to recognize. And unfortunately, coming from the pharmaceutical sales industry, a lot of us, and as well as many of the consumers, have been, in a way, misinformed that we need, high dosages of certain chemicals that could eventually be toxic to the body long term, or in order to suppress particular symptoms, or in fact, a particular symptom could be the result of a malnourishment or a deficiency in certain foods.
Well, I know one of the things that was suggested to us when we were competing was Pedialyte, just because it was naturally a low sugar drink. It had all the minerals and it had the water you need, but it didn't have as much sugar, so therefore you didn't get that spike and crash while you were competing. Right. At the end of the day, when coming from a very extreme perspective of where I was convincing medical doctors to teach their patients to take in chemicals, to now where I'm highly encouraging the consumption of only whole foods for a source of nourishment and healing and medicine in a way. The whole thing in the middle in terms of what liquids should we be drinking, at the end of the day, it should just be water, such as spring water, filtered water. Even you can think of raw, unpasteurized milk. These types of liquids are actually, at the end of the day, what nature has provided us and are really sustaining, nourishing liquids. In terms of, if we were to compare various, commercially produced liquids for specific performance, that everyone's going to try to push a product, especially if it's been, manufactured and there's certain devices that go into it. But unfortunately, those are very much designed to create impressions on people so they can choose one product over another. And at the end of the day, water and the minerals are the two most important parts of what people should be looking for in something to nourish the muscles, especially during an endurance-based type of activity.
Hey, Gerald, give us a quick home recipe then. A lot of times people don't want to buy products. They want to be able to do something at home, create something of an electrolyte drink, something that has that balance that you're talking about. Even in this world of coconut water, that thing's getting a little bit crazy, too. Everybody's making a new coconut water, and that's the big thing,
Because Ferran promoted that on Living the Run. He promoted coconut water. Now everybody wants coconut water, right?
Yeah, Ryan Ferran, he is a big name. But anyway, let's... you know what I mean? It's going there. So give us a kitchen recipe, something at home, something we can take from our own garden, something that we can take from the farmer's market, put together.
Excellent. And, it's amazing because a lot of people are asking me as a certified nutritional consultant, what is the best coconut water brand out there? And my answer is always the best coconut water brand is the one that you actually directly extract from the coconut itself. So ultimately, nature provides what's best for us. And unfortunately, what you see in a lot of these packaged boxes of coconut water, you'll actually find that, on the label, you'll see it's been gently pasteurized, which in a way is a misnomer because as soon as something's pasteurized, it's exposed to high heat over a period of time, which does also lead to the destruction of certain nutrients. So for your listeners, the best is to go and find their own raw coconuts out there, cut them open, and make that actual coconut water, which has some sugar, has a lot of minerals, and that's going to be great for the body. And then I would even go to the extent of juicing various vegetables, because vegetables, especially organically grown or those that have been purchased at the farmer's market, those are phenomenal sources of other minerals that, again, feeds your muscles, like potassium, calcium, magnesium. So I would look to juice vegetables like kale, any of the cruciferous vegetables, any vegetables that are very stocky, very strong, like celery. So anything with a strong stalk are going to be high in minerals. And juice those, mix that in with your coconut water, and that would make the best, I guess you could say, sports drink in my world.
You listen to Gerald Rolise from Certified Nutritional Consultant up in the Bay Area. We're talking about electrolyte drinks and some of those things. The other thing we want to hit on with you real quick is in the world of the Olympics, in the world of working out, a lot of times people hurt. Muscles ache, joints ache. And obviously the first thing it seems like almost everybody goes to is either the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or the NSAIDs, your ibuprofens, your Advils, etc., or they're going to the acetaminophen, the Tylenol. In your experience as a pharmaceutical rep, etc., and now into the whole food world, what are we seeing side effects long-term from some of these anti-inflammatories? What may be better choices in the whole food supplement world to help us out there?
Yeah, great question. Oftentimes patients will be given a recommendation to take a certain drug when they're in pain, when they have inflammation. And the ones you mentioned, the NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, as well as ibuprofen. What's not being told about these drugs, these chemicals, is that there are side effects, and there are many that can be short-term, and there can be long-term. Oftentimes, we think about side effects as something immediately occurring after we take a drug. However, a lot of the side effects can actually develop over time, and then actually lead to, in some situations, drug-induced diseases. So if you were to Google that, you can find that easily on the web. Now, for the ibuprofen and the NSAIDs, also commonly put in a class known as the COX-2 inhibitors, one of the common side effects are GI bleeding, ulcerations, and there are many other lists of side effects that that can actually occur. So the first thing that I want your listeners to just always be aware of is that every drug has side effects. There is no drug out there that is free of side effects other than the placebo, which is a sugar pill. Now, the other alternative, because many of your athletes are very intelligent and want to definitely find the best alternative, the best foods that actually help with inflammation, or in a way you can say are anti-inflammatory, are foods such as like turmeric, cumin, even ginger. Ginger is anti-inflammatory. There's certain herbs like the boswellia, even the celery seeds. So, we don't really find celery seed out there. We find celery. So that, in a way, will help decrease inflammation. And then really what you want to think about are oils, any type of oils that are cold-pressed, unrefined. So when we hear about tuna oil as anti-inflammatory, there's also wheat germ oil, there's black currant oil, chlorophyll oil. All these oils are actually anti-inflammatory for us because they help to decrease histamine as well as leukotrienes. And those two are the buzzwords. The histamines and leukotrienes are in a way, the inflammatory mediators that create the swelling, and certainly these foods can help decrease them. Now, there are also other things that can be used, such as proteolytic enzymes. Typically, you will find those in a whole food concentrate, but proteolytic enzymes help to go and clean up the debris. So there are many great alternatives for when an athlete runs into an inflammatory situation, and you don't always have to turn to the drug. Just because it's available over the counter, it also doesn't always mean it's the safest option, so just keep that in mind.
Hey, awesome stuff, Gerald. We appreciate it very much. This is great information for our listeners. Again, things to help them heal, to make things better, both in recovery as well as when they're out there participating. Again, thanks for your time. We hope to have you again, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Again, representing Standard Process. I love your little quote there: "Let food be thy medicine, or medicine be thy food." Good stuff. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Rex.
Good stuff, Paul. What do you think? Were you? I see you drinking an electrolyte drink of your own there.
This is my one Coke in 2 weeks. Right here, buddy.
1 in 2 weeks. Did you mix any coconut water? Has Coca-Cola got a coconut flavor?
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah. No, this is Coca. Yeah, Coca. Yeah, that's it.
Remember they brought out the cherry, then they went to the vanilla, and now no coconut.
I don't drink Coke enough to know that, so I wouldn't.
Coconut is next. Yes.
I hope not.
We talk a little bit more happiness, a little bit more laughter. We can get Paul Tarek going again in studio with Gene Steele. Max is hanging in there. Producer Max Woodcock hanging in there. More from Living the Run in moments.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
When I was your age and we went camping, Grandpa always told ghost stories.
Were they scary?
They sure were.
Ooh, tell me one.
Create memories that your son or daughter will never forget. Take them camping, hiking, or fishing. But before you go, get everything you need at Four Seasons Outfitters.
Okay, let's see if I can remember one. Oh, yeah. A father and son were camping.
You mean like us?
Uh-huh. And not far from where they were was a spooky old shack.
Is that where the ghost is, Dad?
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you need for your next adventure in the great outdoors.
Anyway, everything is quiet when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they hear a voice.
Hey, guys.
Ah!
What's wrong? I was just bringing marshmallows from the kitchen.
Even if the adventure is in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 High Garra, San Luis Obispo.
Hey, honey, can you leave the back porch light on?
The ultimate choice for sports massage in SLO County? Peak Performance. Conveniently located at SLO Wellness Center just blocks from Cal Poly is ready to assist you to reach your personal best. Calling all athletes and fitness enthusiasts. If you're ready to start alleviating symptoms by addressing the true problems, if you are seeking efficient and effective body work, then you can count on Peak Performance. Nagging injury, losing the bounce in your step, pain or tightness keeping you from training hard and reaching your goals? Raise your standards, raise your expectations. Call Peak Performance 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff puts your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, SLO Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at SLO Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, SLO Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back here on Living the Run. Good stuff from Gerald. Told you to get out in that garden. Go climb that coconut tree, Paul Tarek. Knock down a coconut, maybe take one of your javelins, spear that thing, and get some true coconut water out of there rather than drink out of one of those cans or boxes.
You honestly will. I'm sorry, it's too funny. I can picture my neighbor calling the cops because I'm out there trying to throw a javelin at a coconut in my front yard. And the cop shows up and I'm like, wait, what? What do you want? What's the problem?
That'd be better than you trying to throw the discus at it. That could be troubling. Good laughter, though, Paul. In studio with Gene Steele, the laughter guru. Gene, can I ask you this? You hear people all the time say, I think I'm going to write a book. I want to write a book. Mm-hmm. I got a book going.
Yeah.
You got a book going.
You actually did write a book called I'd Like to Run Wild. How long did it take you from the time that you started to think about doing a book to actually putting it together and making a copy like this?
Okay. Can I tell you the story of the book?
I'd love the story of the book.
Okay, it's great. You might get a tear, Paul.
I highly doubt it, but maybe.
You're kind of sensitive. You might like it.
Hey, and real quick, people can find this book on happypeoplewin.com.
Happypeoplewin.com. I also have a Facebook page, Happy People Win.
Happy People Win on Facebook, happypeoplewin.com. We will post it on livingtherun.com.
If it's true that happy people win, I bet the loony bin is full full of winners. Just full of winners.
It is
Champions.
full of winners.
And I think that's the technical term, loony bin, Paul, Mr. PC.
It is.
He's been PC all night long. Tell us about the book.
Okay, I was working actually doing a training for some nurses at a home health care agency, and they had a client who was a woman who they were giving hospice care to who was dying. She was in her 80s, and she was unable to walk or talk. So they would communicate with her by writing on a clipboard every day, how do you feel? And she would respond. And one day they wrote, how do you feel? And she responded with, I'd like to run wild. And it really hit me because I think so many of us are too busy or too sophisticated or we need to wait till we retire to really have fun. And I had an idea to write a book, and it actually is from my keynotes. I do a lot of keynotes nationally, and I talk about gratitude and reducing stress and living a happier life. So when I heard that, I'd like to run wild, I thought perfect name for my book. And after that, it just flowed. It was easy. And it's a workbook, so that when people look at the chapter on laughter and learn more about it, then they can write down the things that make them laugh. Because you need to have that kind of ready, that you're having a bad day, that you have 5 things you know you can do to be in a better mood.
Obviously, stress is high in the United States. Different things bring up different stressors for everyone. You mentioned nurses, classic group that gets stressed or taken on a lot from patients. There's a lot of things that they see that they probably wish they didn't see. But when you talk about going and keynoting for people, is there a group too small for you? Is there a certain group that you're going after? Or is it kind of globally that we need to inspire as many groups as possible, and you'll go speak just about anywhere? Yeah.
Actually, I don't do one-on-one, but I do a lot of training. I do a lot.
You may start with Paul Terrico after this show. He may be your first client.
You know, I'm not a therapist, and I think that's what really Paul needs more than someone like me.
Max and I would agree.
Okay.
When I go to work tomorrow, they're not going to let me. They're not going to let me anywhere near the building. They're like, we need to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I do trainings for you guys.
Oh, nice.
A lot. Yeah. But it is interesting because I train for all different kinds of groups. I just spoke last weekend to a group who got together. They do eventing, 3-day eventing for horses. And, well, I guess for riders and horses. And so I talked to them about competitive stress and how to do everything from diaphragmatically breathe to visualization. I talk to a lot with education, with vets. I do a lot with healthcare. I did, yesterday I did a training for people who run the children's services for public health in Santa Barbara. And I have the best job, I told you. Except maybe working with Paul might be better. I'm just saying.
I was going to say, let's get that out there, you know.
It would be cool. You know, we had a guy come on, neurologist come on a couple months ago, and he was talking about the art of individualized treatment and how he thought that was something that was super important that kind of gets missed, where we just kind of generically throw out these suggestions and kind of lump everybody together. When you're talking to people and you start to talk about what you just talked about, visualization, diaphragmatic breathing, laughter, etc., what are you letting people know? Because obviously some of that's going to resonate with people differently at different times. How do they take, as they read your book or they listen to you speak, do you have them kind of search for one thing and just kind of go with it? Or, how does that whole thing go? Because you're obviously offering up a lot of stuff.
That's a good
your book
point.
offers up a lot of stuff.
That's a good point. I was doing a training with a group in Sacramento, and it turns out it was all men. And when I pulled up, in the back of their trucks, they weren't work trucks, they were their personal trucks, they had gun racks. So when I went in, I go, what's with the gun racks? They go, oh, pheasants fly over here all the time. So we go out, and I went, whoa. So when I started talking about wellness, and I said it's a holistic approach to health, they freaked. I could tell that they are thinking, holistic, what in the heck? So I kind of played with it, and I said, I'm going to suggest we pipe Yanni all the time over the loudspeaker. I think that we should have tofu in the machines. And I said, right now, can we have a group hug? And they're freaking out. And I went, you guys, I'm just kidding. You need to take what works for you because everybody, it's different. But I have to say things like diaphragmatic breathing. I used to teach it with anger management, people who were on parole. And it was a different kind of crowd. But diaphragmatic breathing reduces your stress, and it's portable, and everybody could do it at any time. So a lot of the things are transferable, but again, I took a meditation class in grad school, and I learned how to do it. It's not totally my thing. I would rather go out, sit in nature, and breathe. So it's whatever works for you.
I'm going to get this out there, and I'm not a doctor, so this is, take it for what you will. I wouldn't mess with people who have gun racks in their truck. It's kind of it's one of the mottos that I live by, actually.
Really?
Yeah, don't mess with a guy with a gun rack.
The more risky the situation, the more I enjoy it.
Because you know why? If he's got a gun rack, he probably has guns to necessitate that gun rack.
They had guns and gun racks.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have messed with those guys.
I'm a risk taker.
I wouldn't have yannied those guys.
Yanni, tofu, and a group hug.
I know.
Wow, risky, Paul.
Know.
Risky stuff.
So I think you're totally right. There's a lot to be said for for being happy. I think what it is really bringing you back to kind of keeping people grounded and bringing them back to what's really important. Mm-hmm. But let's take a snapshot of the world today. You got people who are angry, who are mad. They're rushing everywhere. How did they start? I mean, it's not just going to go, I'm going to take this pill, wake up, feel better, because that's what everybody wants. They want that magic blue pill, and they want to feel better, and they want their problems to be solved. But that's temporary solution. Where do they go?
I think my big thing, well, first of all, I want to preface it with, I was raised in Africa, in Ethiopia. When we moved there, the kids on our street, they didn't live on our street. They would play soccer on our street with a blown-up cow bladder as their ball. I saw at a very young age how different Americans live. And these kids were having, like you said with the Cubans, they were having a blast. I think the biggest thing I remind people is put your life in perspective. I was sharing yesterday that I have an acquaintance who was telling me that his Beamer was keyed. And he goes, you buy a car for $100,000 and it was keyed. And I went, you have a $100,000 Beamer? He goes, that's not my point. And I said, okay, put this in perspective. You have a $100,000 car.
You make poor financial decisions.
I'm sorry. It was keyed, probably on purpose, that one I said in my head. But the reality is, when we complain about gas prices, it's horrible, but we have cars.
Yeah.
We really need, when we say we're starving, we're not starving. We're hungry. And I think perspective is really important. Tomorrow on my Facebook page, I already scheduled a picture of a little girl, maybe 3. She doesn't have any arms, and she is drawing with the pencil in her mouth. To me, that is total perspective. To stop complaining that, I can't believe I'm at Vaughn's. I saw a woman having a meltdown because they were out of this thing that was on sale. And I said, put this in perspective. And I wish I could tell you she turned and looked at me and said, thank you for that. But she gave me the total stink eye.
She probably turned and said something to you.
She did. She gave me the stink eye, but I don't care. The reality is, you know what? I'm not minimizing anything anybody's going through that's hard, but we have it pretty good here.
Yeah, you listen to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket. You're listening to Gene Steele. You can find her on happypeoplewin.com. Your Facebook stuff is awesome. I just want to say this. I talked to a guy today, Rick from Tennis Warehouse, and we were talking about different physical things you could do, running and biking, so forth. And we got into kind of the spiritual, mental side of stuff there. And I thought you just hit on a key point when you said, I don't do that very well. We talked about the same thing. He says, that whole kind of meditation thing, I don't do it that well. But it's not the only way. No. And I think people need to kind of get that under grasp to say, hey, there's multiple ways to get this, but that it is important to get that aspect.
Yeah, what works for you.
What works for you. And, it is, again, it's not measurable. And I think that's a hard thing. And we talk about, putting stuff on the calendar. What's the one tip real quick before we go to break that you can get to people? Because we tell people, hey, get a race on the calendar. Simple. That'll get you off your butt. You got a 5K in 2 months. You're going to start running. What's something that somebody could do tomorrow that would make a difference in the way that they think about what you were saying, their situation, and put things into perspective?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I do, speaking about putting on calendar. I put myself on my calendar, not for just for Gene time. Because I think we're so busy, we have so much going on, that we tend to put ourselves at the bottom of our to-do list. Or as I was speaking at a nursing conference, they told me, we're not on our to-do list. And I think blocking out time for yourself, and whether you take a yoga class or meditate or run or spend time with friends or watch something that makes you laugh. I'm a big advocate of YouTube breaks, even in the workplace. And what research shows is taking 5 minutes to watch something and laugh or cry will make you more productive, and you'll have a better day.
Great stuff from Gene Steele. More on Living the Run in moments.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at SLO Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
When I was your age and we went camping, Grandpa always told ghost stories.
Were they scary?
They sure were.
Ooh, tell me one.
Create memories that your son or daughter will never forget. Take them camping, hiking, or fishing. But before you go, get everything you need at Four Seasons Outfitters.
Okay, let's see if I can remember one. Oh, yeah. A father and son were camping.
You mean like us?
Uh-huh. And not far from where they were was a spooky old shack.
Is that where the ghost is, Dad?
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you need for your next adventure in the great outdoors.
Anyway, everything is quiet when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they hear a voice.
Hey, guys.
Ah!
What's wrong? I was just bringing marshmallows from the kitchen.
Even if the adventure is in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 High Cara, San Luis Obispo.
Hey, honey, can you leave the back porch light on?
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back. Great show. I'm telling you, Max, we got to have to make a pitch to get maybe 2 hours on this show. We're running out of time. These shows are going way too darn fast. Paul Tarrick's eyes just got big, but the smile came back quick, too. Gene Steele's been in studio. Gene, thanks for coming to you. Again, her book, I'd Like to Run Wild. Phenomenal book. You can get it on happypeoplewin.com. You can find that on Facebook, too. You know, again, this show looking for opportunities to raise the bar in health and fitness, and clearly it's got to come on the mental side of things, too, the spiritual side of things, too. A couple things to leave us with.
Oh, my God.
A laugh.
Okay, that's
all
it. I wanted
we
to
needed.
say
Yeah.
my life has been changed in a dramatic way listening to Pastor Paul. Is that what he's called?
Pastor Paul, I think so.
You know what? I think my biggest thing is to live recognizing life is short. And it's not a depressing way to live. It's just acknowledging that life is good. We're going to make the best of it. We don't know how long we have. And have fun.
Pretty good, Paul.
I don't know if I can top that. I'll take a swing at it, but I don't know if I can top that.
Let's hear the Tao of Paul.
Paul, are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. I think she's right. You know?
Tips and takeaways, Paul. Tips and takeaways.
Tips and takeaways.
Yeah, give us something.
Do without. Go without. Don't always feel like your family has to have something. Like you have to have something. You should feel like when you were like 9 and your dad wouldn't buy you something. You know, you should feel like that sometimes. We were happier then.
Ooh.
Gene had a great point, putting yourself on the calendar. I think it's just something that tends not to happen. We often look and say, probably the thing I hear the most, Paul, is I don't have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough time. But there is time if your name's on the calendar. Mm-hmm. If the name's on the calendar, you got a shot. It's good stuff, and I think that it's an aspect of this whole thing. You see people come in, and they're walking around. They say they've changed their diet. They say they're exercising, but they're dragging. Gene, and I think, again, this is people need to get out and be in an environment around people positive. I mean, heck, your Facebook kicks butt. I love your Facebook.
Thank you.
You go on there, and I've never been on there and didn't laugh. There's always stuff, but at the same time, there's always that picture or something that kind of tugs at you, too, and says, hey, I think I can do more, or I do need to put my complaints in perspective, put them on the back burner and go.
I think people have to change their programming. You can buy a new TV set, get a new entertainment center, but if the programming's crappy, it's always going to be crappy.
Whoa. Can I get a copy of that?
Not to be used without the express written permission of Paul Terking.
Gene, any chance that you'll come back on with us?
I would love to. I'd love to hang out with you guys. I feel more intelligent, more balanced as a result of this hour.
Do you have a coconut tree in your backyard?
I'm going to get one and a javelin. Hello.
Good stuff from Gerald.
Well, I already have a javelin. Duh, who doesn't? But a coconut tree.
Who doesn't have a javelin?
And who doesn't have a bag full of pole vault poles as well? Maybe you could just pole vault up to the top, Paul.
Ooh.
True story. I sold my pole vault poles. It was a sad day for me. It really was. It was a sad day.
Did somebody on Craigslist pick those up?
No, not on Craigslist. Like I'm gonna sell. People show up at my house. What is this? What is this thing? It is so funny. I shall have this. I mean, no, I don't. I didn't want to list it on Craigslist and deal with the debacle and carnival of people that would show up looking at me.
Hey, I'm excited to read Gene's book. I'm going to start this thing tonight. I'd like to run wild. Again, Gene, I went there today. I go there every Wednesday. It's part of my routine. Jaffa Cafe. We got a gift card for you to our favorite Jaffa Cafe. And talk about a guy who does it at the right level and puts things in perspective. Adnan over there at Jaffa in St. Louis. Great stuff.
Yay.
Hey, next week, Dr. Michael Hall out of Dallas, Texas, talking functional neurology on running, brain performance, etc. As always, join us next week where we live healthy, we live bold, we live the run.